We know what it's here to say, what it's up. Anybody here to stop, what it's up. Anybody here to buy, what it's up. Anybody be survive, and survive. I spilt my coffee, and that's how I exactly hear the song. Welcome everybody, I'm RJ of The Nerdy Brew, and here on this channel we talk TV, movies, and everything in between, all while drinking a cup of coffee. Now, if you like one of those things or all of those things, won't you consider like, subscribing, and hit that notification bell and becoming a fellow Brewster? Now, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for stopping by and having this cup of coffee with me, and I hope all is well with you, and I appreciate you. And I just wanted to sit down and have this coffee talk. This has been on my mind for a little while now. Suits LA, which is a spinoff of Suits, has premiered, and as the time of this recording, we're 4 episodes in. I'm still gonna give it a chance and continuing, but I have some thoughts that are lingering in my head that I just want to talk this one out with you on the other side. And I've been a fan of Suits since the show premiered, and I was watching it episode to episode, week to week, season to season. So I didn't get a chance to join the rest of the fan base that ended up binging it on Netflix. And I'm so happy that people got exposed to the show that didn't watch it, and now the fan base grew. And for me, you know, when Suits started, it was during the renaissance of USA Network. There was Burn Notice, there was Psych, there was Covert Affairs, there was Fairly Legal, there was so many other things. There was White Collar, love me some Neil Caffrey, and what he had going on with Tim DeKay, with the FBI agent and all of that. It was a high point for the network. And then they included this show. Mr. Robot was on there, but Mr. Robot was at the ending of that Renaissance era, but Suits got in right there. And with Suits, we were introduced to this found family, and this strong character driven show, but they had a lot of great narratives going around it. For example, of like the division of the law firm, right? And we have Jessica Pearson, and then we have the old person that they take the company from, which Daniel Hartman. And Daniel Hartman, he comes back and he's antagonistic. And then we have one of the greatest character, you know, heel turns, you know, that's usually for a bad turn, but back to 180 to become on the side of the allies or whatever and stop being so antagonistic, was Louis Litt. And Louis Litt was just a great character.
Oh, see, now you're asking to get lit up. Somebody wants to get lit up.
Just the thorn in the side of just being a weasel. But his character grew to become a full-fledged character. And then we see the relationship dynamics, Dana and Harvey, and seeing from they've been together and their relationship as people, platonic, for years. And then that ended up blossoming into something else. Spoilers. And, you know, the introduction of Mike Ross and his young, innocent, youthful attraction with Meghan Markle and her character. And then, you know, having so strong character actors come in through the show. You know, Wendell Pierce made it on there, and he played Meghan Markle's dad, Daddy Zane. And yes, her name was Rachel Zane in the show. And just having all of these, like, you know, there was this dude who came in there, and he was like a sly con artist, and he ended up dating Donna, and like he looked like a full potential of a mate for her. And just like the things that didn't pan out for them, and like learning the familial bonds that they have with, you know, in the background, like Harvey's relationship with his parents, you know, how that made him a flawed man. The things going on for Mike Ross and what he had to deal with before he ended up becoming in the law firm, and then dealing with the aspects of just being, I'm not gonna say a regular dude, but not in the space of like the upper echelon bourgeoisie kind of atmosphere, when he was just a regular, you know, grinding kind of individual. And just to see that kind of art and seeing that growth, seeing these people go through their trials and tribulations and the things that they go through of, you know, keeping a secret, a massive secret, that and then the repercussions of that secret being exposed, the divisions between relationships, loyalty and friendship, and then going off and coming to a place of like contentment, you know. And I just felt like, and then also the suits and the fashion within the show were stellar. Donna and Jessica looked very nice for women. And I love the tailored suits for Harvey. Mike ended up getting a little bit of money, so so you could tell that he was eating. He was eating, and which is understandable. But you know, for the most part, just keeping it well based and strong narrative and great storytelling just makes it a great entertainment medium television show. And that's what Suits was. And for it to have its fan base and for it to be 9 seasons long lasting as it is, that means that it had quality. And for me, I will always preach and be like, yo, if you need something to watch, I will always recommend Suits if you haven't seen it. So I'll always say, watch the OG Suits. So now we're here with Suits LA. And Suits LA, first of all, I'm gonna say this. Like, I love Stephen Amell and I love Brian Greenberg. I love Stephen Amell from his work as Arrow. Arrow had its ups and downs when it came to being a TV show, all in all. But in totality, I enjoyed Arrow and I loved his work. And then when he got off of Arrow, he did this show called Heels. Heels ended up being one of my top 10, maybe even top 5 of a particular year that premiered. I'm gonna link it somewhere. But I loved that show and I was mad that it got canceled and it ended on a cliffhanger. But to see him turn around and end up being in Suits, I'm like, yo, for what he did as Oliver Queen and his show Heels, I'm like, and is stepping into this role as somebody who's a top upper echelon kind of lawyer, then for sure I could see him doing it. And I love Suits, you know, the Big Brother Suits. So let's see where this goes. And then we have Brian Greenberg, and I also love Brian Greenberg as well. Okay, so he did this movie called Already Tomorrow in Hong Kong, and I love that movie. And in that movie, he met his wife, who was Jamie Chung, and they're now together, and they've been together ever since that movie. And I just enjoyed that movie and I loved his work in it. But prior to that, there was How to Make It in America, and I'm gonna come back and talk about How to Make It in America on this channel, so make sure that you subscribe for whenever that video drops. But with him in that, being the protagonist in the show, and being from that grind culture, like, I just enjoyed him in that main role. He's a likable kind of actor for the roles that he takes in. So with seeing Stephen Amell and Brian Greenberg and being Suits, I was like, yo, I'm all in. And then also LA, I got a thing for LA. I love LA based stories. LA Confidential, Perry Mason, 2019, Ray Donovan. Ray Donovan, I just felt like, you know, the Black Dahlia, the movie from Brian De Palma. Like, I love these LA stories and LA settings. And I just feel like rich storytelling could come out of LA, and especially dealing with the entertainment business. And then the thing is this, like right now with the show, with 4 episodes in, and they're dealing with a high profile, you know, execution case. Now, not somebody gonna be executed by the state, but I don't know what words I can say on YouTube. So somebody got unalived by someone's other hand, right? You can fill in the M word, dial M for murder, right? So there's that. And the thing is, that's kind of like the case that they're trying to handle and get other, facts and trying to prepare for trial. And that's kind of like the A story that's going on, like in the main timeline. But then there's also flashbacks within the show. And with the flashbacks, it's like, what were these characters doing back 15 years prior? So I don't know if it's taking present day, but right now it's definitely, they had a flashbacks of 2010. And Stephen Amell's character was in New York, and he was ADA, and he was trying to prosecute mob stuff, right? And we come to find out there was a big hard blow that he had a brother who was special needs, right? And we find out at the end of the first episode that his brother had passed away, right? And it's like, that's kind of like what's heavy, and that was kind of like the hook for the rest of the show, and like what kind of led to that. But they're dealing with the past of 2010. And all of these people know each other with all the other figures. And then the show starts off with a division of the law firm that Stephen Amell built, and his character is named Ted Black. And the thing about this is, everybody had their own motive and machinations to get to certain places, right? And be established in their own right. So that was kind of like the thing. And now the show is moving forward, dealing with these different ones, and then like different, and since the show is on Peacock, right? Different other NBC, alumni are coming into the show and being represented by the law firm or lawyers dealing within the show. So then there's that. Just to handle different cases, and that's kind of like for the side characters that are in the show. So that's pretty much like the gist of what's going on within the new show of Suits LA. But for me, I'm gonna have to say this. Sadly, I'm comparing it to the first series, and it is doing something for me that I'm not necessarily, captivated like I want to be with the show. It's because of this, right? The first series, in that first episode, dealt with a major hook to grab me as a viewer to be invested in the story. And with that hook, it lasted multiple seasons to make it still be a problem or a conflict for the characters and the world that they're building on, and the implications and the ramifications of what that does to everybody.
College then, and that would make you
Old enough to run my own law firm.
You look so young.
Well, you know what they say.
Mm-hmm.
True beauty
Black
is
don't
ageless.
crack. That's what I meant to say.
Well, enough about me. I want to hear about you. What was Harvard like? An allegation was made that Mike Ross never went to Harvard or any other law school for that matter, so I had him checked out. Squeaky clean. Graduated top of his class. So I took him to dinner. I wanted to see what you saw in him that makes him so special.
And?
I get it. It's a total package. Maybe even the best of both of us.
I hope this doesn't mean you're going to put me in charge of recruiting.
No, not to worry, you are off the hook. Harvey, one more thing. He might have checked out clean, but I know that kid's full of shit. Because there may be a record of him graduating from Harvard Law, but there's no record of him graduating from any college anywhere on the face of the earth. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you didn't know. Because I don't want to do what I would do if you did. And what you're going to do is fire that goddamn kid. What are you going to do?
I'm going to fire him. Well, what are we talking about? Jeremy Lin? Yeah, I can make that happen. You knew. I gotta go.
You want an explanation?
I want to see you perp walk through the bullpen with your pretty little jacket draped over your handcuffs.
When I found out the truth about Mike Ross, it had already been done.
So instead of turning him in, you cover it up.
Lewis.
And the one time that I do something, you don't cover it up at all. I ask you for the smallest gesture, just to allow my career to continue with dignity, and you couldn't muster the tiniest shred of compassion.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to tell me you're a liar and a hypocrite! And I want you to say you're sorry.
I am a liar, and I am a hypocrite, but I will not say I'm sorry.
And which was keeping Mike's secret of not being an actual lawyer. Like, it was a ruse and a con produced by Harvey Specter. But the thing is, Mike was brilliant and he had the ability to have a photographic memory. So he could, you know, take in all the legal information. He could take in all the facts, all the evidence, and he could review a case. I think he should have been just a consultant. That probably would have alleviated a lot of problems, or at least try to get him to be a paralegal. But nah, they had him in there as a full-fledged lawyer, and him as a full-fledged lawyer, right? It was really like, because you have to go to the bar, you have to get a certification, you got to get the law license, like all of this, having Jessica know, having Donna know, having, you know, Lewis was holding it over their head. And that could destroy the law firm. And the thing is, they ended up paying for it. And I just feel like that was something that was so rich and so heavy that this show ended up lacking of Suits LA. So the biggest revelation, as I said, was that we found out that Stephen Amell's, Ted Black's, his brother, has passed. Very tragic. Death isn't easy. It's a sadness that we all contend with, right? And then that's kind of like the mystery, like what happened, right? But other than him doing lawyer stuff and talking with people, and they already started the division kind of early, and we're building out to know these characters, there was nothing that grabbed me that heavy. And then it's still kind of meandering through that storyline dealing with the mob. You know, I felt like maybe the timeline could have still been different. Like, how is the mob operating today? And how would a lawyer try to deal with it? And he's on the other side now. He's a defense attorney now. So it's like, what are we really doing? And yeah, you mad at everybody, which is justifiable. So, but it's still like you not keeping a secret that's heavy that could really destroy the law firm, or, you know, you don't have heavy evidence, or you're not part of a heavy crime. And the other story that they having for this main trial in the main timeline is just a regular case. It's not regular because it is dealing with dial-in for murder, but at the same time, it's still just like they're stretching it out when it could have just been like probably like an episode or so. And, you know, I just feel like there's other deeper things. As I said, Perry Mason from 2019 dealing with LA, being a lawyer, getting investigations, and just like all of that. I think it could have been way more captivating for the sake of the show. Right now, I'm dealing with it. If I was to give it like a Nerdy Brew grade, I'll probably give it like a Nerdy Brew grade of like a 6.5. Yeah, the fashion and the acting is there, but when it comes to the storytelling, it's kind of, as I said, it's a lot of lulls, it's meandering, and I haven't had that pop just yet for me to be fully invested. So those are my thoughts so far about Suits LA. Let me know your thoughts about Suits, the franchise, or anything else about Suits. Are you enjoying it? Just let me know your thoughts so we could have this conversation. Continue it. I started it. You finish it down in the comments. We got merch for sale. I have a second channel. Still growing it. It's called RJ Coffee and Books. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll just be really happy to hear from you. You know, get the likes up, comment, let's get people to join and have some coffee with us. And with all that being said, I'm gonna bring this video to an end, and I want you to be you, do you, see the bigger picture. Have a fantastic day, because you deserve it. This is that channel. Peace.
Mouth on top, kung fu, Bruce Lee chop, moon rocks, no red socks, tryna go far like boondocks, headshot, blunt stay hot, talking shit, gotta pull up on they block, you fraud, I'm Couchgod, no you got a tax like a state charge, safe house, safe house, safe house.